Chapter 3. The Power of State. Have you ever had the experience of being on a roll? The feeling that you could do no wrong. A time when everything seems to go right. Maybe it was a tennis match when every shot hit the line, or a business meeting where you had all the answer. Maybe it was a time when you amazed yourself by doing something heroic or dramatic you never thought you could do. You have probably had the opposite experience too, a day when nothing went right. You can probably remember times you messed up things you usually do easily. When every step was wrong, every door was locked, everything you tried turns out wrong. What's the difference? You have the same person. You should have the same resources at your disposal. So why do you produce dismal result one time and fabulous result the next? Why do even the best athlete have days when they do everything right and follow them with days when they can't buy a basket or a base hit? The difference is the neuropsychological state you are in. There are enabling state, confidence, love, inner strength, joy, escape, belief, that tape great wellspring of personal power. There are paralyzing state, confusion, depression, fear, anxiety, sadness, frustration that leave us powerless. We all go in and out of good and bad state. Have you ever gone into a restaurant and had a waitress sneller? Do you think she always communicate like that? It's possible that she had such a difficult life that she always like that, but it's more likely that she had a bad day handling too many table, maybe stiffed by a few customer. She had not a bad person, she just a terrible unresourceful state. If you can change her state, you can change her behavior. Understanding state is a key to understand change and achieving excellence. Our behavior is the result of the state we are in. We always do the best we can with the resource available to us, but sometimes we find ourselves in unresourceful state. I know there have been times in my life when, while in particular state, I did or said a thing that later I regret or was embarrassed about. Maybe you have too. It's important to remember this time when someone treat you poorly. Thus, you create a sense of compassion instead of anger. After all, those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stone. Remember, the waitress and other people are not their behavior. The key that it's to take charge of our state and thus our behavior. What if you could snap your finger and go into a most dynamic, resourceful state at all? A state in which you are excited, you are sure of success, your body is crackling with energy, your mind is alive. Well, you can. By the time you finish this book, you are going to know how to put yourself into your most resourceful, empowering state and get yourself out of your disempowering state whenever you choose. Remember, the key is to power is take action. My goal is to share with you how to use the state that lead to decisive congruent, commitment, action. In this chapter, we are going to learn what states are, how they work, and we are going to learn why we can control our state to make them work for us. A state can be defined as the sum of millions of neurological processes happening within us. In other words, the sum total of our experience at any moment in time. Most of our state happen without any conscious direction on our part. We see something and we respond to it by going into a state. It may be a resourceful and useful state or unresourceful and limiting state, but there is no much that most of us do to control it. The difference between those who fail to achieve their goal in life and those who succeed is the difference between those who cannot put themselves in supportive state and those who can consistently put themselves in a state that support them in their achievement. Almost everything people want is some possible state. Make a list of things you want in life. Do you want love? Well, love is a state, a feeling or emotion we signal to ourselves and feel within ourselves based on certain stimuli from the environment. Confidence, respect, they're all things that we create. We produce this result state within ourselves. Maybe you want money. Well, you don't care about having little pieces of green paper adorned with the faces of assorted, deceased notable. You want what money represent to you, the love, confidence, freedom, or whatever state you think it can help provide. So, the key to love, the key to joy, the key to one power that man has sought for a year, the ability to direct his life, is the ability to know how to direct and manage your state. The first key to directing your state and produce the result you desire in life is to learn to effectively run your brain. In order to do this, we need to understand a little bit about how it works. We need to know what to create a state in first place. For centuries, man has been fascinated by way to alter his state and thus his experience of life. He has tried fasting, drug, ritual, music, sex, food, hypnosis, chanting. These things all have their uses and their limitation. However, you are now going to be opened up to much simpler ways that are equally powerful in many cases clearer and more precisely. If all behavior is the result of the state we are in, we may produce different communication and behavior, and we are in resourceful state than we will when we are in unresourceful one. Then the next question is, what create the state we are in? There are two main components of state. The first is our internal representation, and the second, conditions and use of our psychology. What and how your picture think, as well as what and how you say think to yourself about the situation at hand, create the state you are in and thus the kind of behavior you produce. For example, how do you treat your spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend when he or she come home much later than promised? Well, your behavior will greatly depend on the state you are in when your loved one returns, and your state to a larger degree will be determined by what you have been representing in your mind as the reason for the delay. If for hours you had been picturing this person you care about in accident, bloody dead, hospitalized, as the person walk in the door, you may greet him, her, with tear or sign of relief, or a big hug and a question of what happened. These behaviors spring from a state of concern. However, if instead you picture your loved one having a cleansed instrument affair, or if you told yourself over and over that this person is late simply because he or she just doesn't care about your time you're feeling, then when your loved one arrives home, you will give him or her a far different reception as a result of your state. Out of a state of feeling angry or feeling used, a whole new set of behavior result. The next obvious question is what caused one person to represent a thing out of a state of concern while another create internal representation that put her in state of distrust and anger? Well, there are many factors. We may have modeled the reaction of our parent or other role models to such experiences. If, when you were a child, your mother always worried about your father came home late, you may also represent a thing in a way that worries you. If your mother talked how she couldn't trust your father, you may have models that pattern. Thus, our belief, attitude, value, past experiences with the particular person all affect the kinds of representation we will make about their behavior. There is an even more important and powerful factor in how we perceive and represent the world, and that is the condition and our pattern of use of our own psychology. Think like musical tension, what we eat, how we breathe, our posture, our all level of biochemical functioning, all loops, anything that affect one will automatically affect the other. So changing state involves changing internal representation and changing psychology. If when your loved spouse child supposed to be home, your body is in reposeful state, you will probably perceive that person as being stuck in traffic or on the way home. If, however, you are